it. So we just dropped Elixir back in the water. There's no leaks.
So it's definitely overheating. The first thing I want to check is the little water in the middle of the channel.
Yeah, just as we were talking about how well Welcome back to Elixir's voyage around the world. We are officially halfway through our circumnavigation. After 16,000 miles and 18 countries, we find ourselves deep in the trenches of a massive, long overdue refit here on the North Island of New Zealand. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a slog, and these past few months have been by far the biggest challenge of the entire voyage. This is the other side of the sailing lifestyle. It's the side that you don't always see. It's hard work, complex problems, and long grinding days in the boatyard. But the launch day is imminent, and it really feels like we're coming to the end of an era. So before diving into that final intense push, we decided to take some time off. Time to celebrate how far we've come and to explore the incredible landscapes of this country that has been our home for the past year.
It's Max's 30th birthday, and I'm making sandwiches for our adventures. Look at that bread. We're going to go to a thermal waterfall. I don't know how hot it's actually going to be, but it's a perfect day, sunny winter day for it.
Happy birthday, Max.
Cheers. What's on the agenda today?
All on the agenda, 2 river trips. One is going to be geothermically heated, so fingers crossed it's going to be warm for us on this brisk winter day. So prepare to get wet.
Sounds epic.
Probably look so stupid with the hat on.
No, it looks great.
No, you don't think I look stupid, Rachel? Oh.
It's my first ever winter birthday.
True.
Something I absolutely love about New Zealand is that you're never far from nature and you're never far from an adventure. While we've been stuck in the boatyard, we've made a real effort to take breaks, get out, and see as much of this place as possible. And honestly, it feels like we've barely scratched the surface. The sheer variety here is mind-blowing, from subtropical beaches to snow-capped mountains and absolutely everything in between. Yeah, so this is a geothermal lake, so you can see there's steam rising from the lake. We're gonna take the dinghy and set out with the engine and find this waterfall.
No, it's not much of a hidden secret. If you know about it, you know about it. If you don't, well, you can easily find out about it. Well, we've got our lovely boat parked up over there. We're all going to bundle in, hopefully motor along, otherwise we've got the paddles, and make our way to an exciting entrance point. I won't say much more from there and leave it as a bit of a surprise. Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Oh yeah.
We're right in the middle of the New Zealand winter, and while it's nowhere near as cold as the English winters that I grew up with, it wasn't exactly warm. The air temperature was hovering somewhere between 10 and 15 degrees C. And even though we were a long way from the ocean, it just felt so good to be back on the water. And once again, I was absolutely blown away by the scenery. We navigated for about 2 kilometers, and after a little bit of confusion as to the exact whereabouts of our destination, we pulled into a tiny little creek.
We're just prepping for tonight.
We think we've arrived at the hot waterfall.
We hope we've arrived.
Our guide is pretty confident that this is the location.
50-50.
We're pretty sure on what isn't the location at the moment.
Yeah, I feel like the steam rising from the water is a pretty big
Indication.
It is feeling warmer.
Good.
Jack's taken us up this little creek, and it feels really surreal. There's steam rising from the water. It's obviously geothermal. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna leave the dinghy here and then just like set out on foot for the final bit.
Jack has brought us to this secret spot, and we've just been told we're at the start, and we've been told we can't wear backpacks. Some rearranging is required.
I'm probably going to take my shirts off as well, I think. It can get up to about waist deep, I'd say.
Waist deep, okay, bikini time.
Very clearly our first attempt at going through here. It's going to be a bit higher than waist deep water. Just making sure you guys are aware of that in advance, so you know we don't make any mistakes and have to come back and put our clothes away or something.
Whoa! You've got the snacks.
All right, Jack, he's swimming.
I'm sorry, one more time. Not above waist deep.
He's literally drowning.
Oh my god, are you okay, Jack?
The food is still dry.
Why is he
Drowning for some sandwiches.
Oh, I really just like saw you drowning. I'm sorry.
I smacked my knee against the wall so many times that.
It's good like seeing Rachel. The deep breathing from Jack.
Just a nice leisurely walk through some close caves. Let's keep going.
God, so just the fact that we were considering wearing our clothes and having backpacks. Holy shit.
Can I hear the sound of Jack drowning again?
Oh my god! I packed this as a picnic lunch. I had no idea.
Nice and easy. Light work.
At least it's not cold in here. Yeah, imagine that. Oh god, we're deep again.
That would explain the drowning.
I'm just wondering how you guys have kept all your beanies dry, and then I realised you have had at least one hand.
Are you good?
It's a rock. I don't know what's coming. It's like annoyingly shallow and deep.
The end of the squeeze. So we got about a 50-metre walk, I'd say.
What's that sound?
Whatever could that be?
Sounds like a waterfall.
Oh! It sounds warm.
Sounds like a hot waterfall.
We're really warm. We're having a good time.
Your lips
The
don't look blue.
geothermal activity is really geothermaling.
Tomorrow is launch day. We're going back in the water. The rig is being stepped. We've run through all of the halyards. We've attached all the standing rigging. We've gone through and changed all of the split pins. This whole top bit of the mast is new, so we have attached the nav light, halyards, all of the wires chased down through the mast. Okay, so the last thing that we need to do on the rig is put the hole through this new tang. This is the new 4-state toggle, which is bigger than the one we had before because this tang is thicker, so we need to drill a new hole for it. You can see that there's so much more thickness here than we had before, so it's just going to be solid.
There's a beefed up drill bit. Look at that.
So this is the end product. We have this solid toggle on the 4-stay. It's not going anywhere.
It's probably the most solid thing on the boat.
10 out of 10 repair, I
10
think.
out of 10. Looks good. Feels good.
I'm fitting this piece of stainless steel, which is a mount for our new Marine wind sensor, which is going to sit here on the masthead, and the navigation light, which is the anchor and tricolour light. We're bolting straight into the masthead, which meant we had to tap into the aluminium here to put the bolts in, and because we're bolting into aluminium with stainless steel, we've had to use Tef gel. This basically just forms a barrier between the stainless and the aluminium because the two dissimilar metals will just attack each other. And then yeah, I put like a little gasket underneath, but yeah, this is looking real solid. So we can start to put everything back together, get the electrical cables chased back through the mast. It has been such a journey getting this mast back together. And looking at it now, I still can't believe how close we came to losing the entire rig in the middle of the Pacific. It feels like a miracle that the crucial forestay tang decided to break just a few miles from shore here in Tauranga. And since then, we've literally cut this mast to pieces and rebuilt it again. So to see it completed and ready to be stepped, it felt like a real achievement. Okay, so a big day today, because as you can see, we've received an exciting shipment from very exciting company. I sailed from the UK all the way to here in New Zealand with zero navigational equipment, just an iPhone running Navionics, which is an app, and a depth sounder. No wind instruments, no like AIS, no radar, no chart plotters, and now we're doing a full upgrade. For the second half of this circumnavigation, Elixir is going to be fitted out with a full suite of Raymarine electronics. It's really exciting. Yeah, I can't wait to fit all of this stuff. So at the masthead, we have a wind sensor. This is like wind direction and wind speed. So we have two. This is their Axiom chart plotter screen. We're going to have one of these in the navigation station at the chart table and one outside in the cockpit. It's going to have the chart overlay, radar overlay, wind depth, all of the data that you need, autopilot controls. The whole system's integrated, so from this screen you can see everything that's going on. It's connected to the AIS so you can see boats nearby. It's connected to the radar so you can spot squalls coming in as well as other boats as well as land. It's connected to the wind sensors so you've got wind information, and it's connected to the transducer so you've got boat speed, heading. Everything is going to be visible and controlled through these screens. This transducer, half of it is the transducer bit that shoots out acoustic waves and measures how far the seabed is. And the other half is this speed log, so we're going to know how fast Elixir's moving through the water. So these are the instrument displays. We're going to have one inside and one out on the cockpit. We have a router. This is sort of like the central hub of everything. So many cables and connections. AIS receiver and transmitter, so basically other boats will be able to see us and we'll be able to see other boats. VHF radio. Wow, look at that. That is a radar. So I haven't decided where I'm going to mount this. There's basically two places where you can mount this, either off the mast or in a stainless steel pole off the back of the boat, so we're going to have to figure out where it's going to go. As you can see, we're going to go from having absolutely nothing to pretty much everything, which is super exciting, and I can't wait to fit all of this stuff and try it out, and then the next passage we do on Elixir is just going to be totally different.
Today I've been finishing the rig. So we've got all the halyards through, and we've got the new toggle in. We've done all the shackles. Everything's ready to go. But we've got quite a few more projects to get done in here.
It's been a busy few days. We are going back in the water tomorrow. So it's been a bit of a frantic mission to finish off the mast and the engine, which I've been doing for the last few days. So the first stage was to align it, which is a bit of a mission because the engine has to be perfectly aligned with the propeller shaft, otherwise it doesn't work properly. And then, yeah, get the engine all bolted down on the new mounts. So we've replaced all of the hoses and we've had to connect the saltwater system, so the coolant, which goes all through the engine, and there's filters and heat exchangers. Reconnect the fuel system, the exhaust system, which I'm about to do now, and yeah, fill the engine full of oil, coolant, the gearbox full of oil. There's quite a lot that goes into like actually connecting the engine again. What's happening?
Well, we're about to start the engine.
We're going in the water tomorrow, as you can see. Let's see if she starts. She's full of oil. We've got a hose, which is we need to cool it. That's what we want to see, isn't it?
trying to get ready. I think we're probably both feeling a mixture of excitement, anxiousness, and exhaustion. It is happening.
Countless hours of graft and toil, and it all came down to this. Launch day, there was so much going through my head, the whole morning was just a blur of moving from one last minute task to the next. But seeing Elixir finally roll out of the spot that's been her home for the last 4 months, that was an amazing feeling. I was confident we wouldn't have any leaks, but you can never be 100% sure, can you? We dropped down into the water, and I'm checking all of the seals to make sure there's no water coming in.
Last minute thing, I'm just installing this Marine wind instrument. We had to like reattach this metal bit here and drill some holes in it to make space for this lovely new thing. Yeah, this is the final part. So Fletcher, what are you up to?
Just trying to tap a new hole in this foot of the mast just to secure it in because the old one snapped. It works.
Yay!
Yeah, that's perfect.
Happy?
So we just dropped Elixir back in the water. There's no leaks, which is great, which means she doesn't have to come back out again. The second stage of this morning is to step the mast. We're going to drop that in now and then tighten up all of the bottle screws and the rigging, start the engine, and hopefully we'll just be able to motor around to the marina without any problems. That's what I'm manifesting. It's always a bit of a process putting the mast back in the boat. There's a lot of steps that go into it. Yeah, it's exciting. It's good to see her floating again.
I've been putting a lot of work into fixing this mast, so fingers crossed it all goes really, really well. It's been so much fun like watching Max and Rachel repair this boat, watching Elixir come back to life and have a whole refit. It's a really, really exciting day.
Everything was going smoothly with the re-rig, almost too smoothly. And then I realised we'd forgotten something crucial. Now, I'm not massively superstitious, but I would never dream of stepping a mast without placing a coin underneath it for good luck. And nobody had a coin. Thankfully, after a few moments of frantic searching, we found one. And from there, everything went smoothly back together. And just like that, she was floating again. The mast was in, the engine worked, and we were moving. I honestly couldn't believe how well it was all going, until, of course, the inevitable happened.
So it's definitely overheating. The first thing I want to check is the raw water.
Yeah, just here.
Where's the seacock for that? In the middle of the channel.
Yeah, just as we were talking about how well it was going.
We jinxed ourselves. Too easy otherwise.
It'll just suck in because the level's gone down.
There we go.
Once we turn it over, it should flush it through the system.
Yeah.
And then if we need to add more, we can add more.
Can you remember which berth we were in?
No, but it's in my email.
We had a temporary pause on our trip back to the marina because the seawater strainer, which is basically the plastic thing that filters through all the seawater, had snapped at some point and it was letting in air, which made the engine overheat. It was all a bit dramatic, but anyway, it's sorted now, and yeah, the berth is just here.
It was all under control the whole time. There was no panic. It was all good.
Yeah.
We made it. Look at that, you'll make it to your appointment on time. Yay!
Okay, so lots of progress recently. As you can see, we have the engine back in, also the mast. Yeah, so Elixir's floating again, which it feels like a huge step from the boatyard back into the water in the marina. Yeah, I'm so happy. Obviously, there's still a lot to do. We have a load of electrical work. We need to finish off refitting the interior, fit all our new Ray Marine kit, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff to go. But yeah, I can't wait. She's gonna be so much better, and I'm really excited to go sailing again. Thank you for sticking with us through this chapter in the boatyard. There's no doubt it's been a slog, but your positivity has genuinely kept us going, and we couldn't have done it without your support. And I also want to give a big shout out to Tauranga Bridge Marina, the best boatyard in New Zealand. If you're coming to New Zealand with your boat, then I can't recommend them enough. If you want to support Elixir's journey directly, the best way is to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. It truly helps us grow. And for those of you who want to get even more involved, please consider joining our crew on Patreon. You'll get exclusive access to my newsletter, the Elixir Express, and be the first to hear about opportunities to come sailing with us. On a more professional note, I'm also a qualified captain and marine engineer. If you'd like to contact me about sailing work, my email is in the description below. For the next few videos, we're actually going to jump back in time to last summer to share an incredible crossing I did on an incredible boat with an incredible crew. You're going to love it. Thanks again for being a part of this. We'll see you in the next one.